we're outside with Dan, and he's going to explain how to hook up the Blue Walk sway control system.
There is a right way and a wrong way, of course, and we'd like to do it correct. So in order to do it correctly and get the most use out of the hitch, we need to get some measurements off of the truck. We've already leveled the trailer, so we know about what the ball height is there, which we have a Gen Y hitch on the back, so we can easily adjust that up and down, just poke it in the right hole. So we're going to take some measurements on the truck, because we want the steering to be so it still has toe in, and we'll handle good going down the road. Won't blow you around. So measure from the ground up to the bottom of the fender, and it is 40.5 inches. Actually write that down somewhere, take a note. And so it's important, I want to keep that within a 1/4 inch plus or minus when I hook up the bars and have the trailer loaded. At this point I'll go and measure the back as well. So I'm going to measure here at the back bumper. It's important that the back of the truck always goes down. You actually have a big motor, transmission, all that up front. We have an empty box more or less here at the back, obviously fuel, and we'll put all that stuff in here. But we need more pulling traction. I don't want to pick it up and make that back axle loose and bouncy and lose control. So we want the back to go down, and we don't really care how much so long as it goes down. The front's what I'm concerned about, the plus or minus a 1/4. So here I'm measuring like 33.5. And it's important when we're done that it is below that. So from there we are ready to hook to the trailer and set our hitch up with that. Again, we're just going to make some measurements on the trailer. We know where the weight distribution, they work like wheelbarrow handles, and we're getting 4-point stability out of here. So I'm going to measure actually back from the center of the ball 29 inches and put a little mark here so I know where the bar goes, the snap up bracket. So that gives me, so I will know that's where the chain goes. I'm going to jump on the other side, I guess, and get the bracket and get a bar. And so I put a little mark on the trailer so I would know where the snap up bracket would go. Different people call them different things, from ears to snap up brackets to whatever. This is the Blue Ox deal that goes on. Again, we're just going to center it at 29 inches. Put a little mark there. Another way to do that, if you don't have a ruler handy, is you can put your spring bar in and have the chain hang up straight. The bars here have a hole in that they're going to pin it. I like to line it up from the outside, but I actually like to put the pin through from the inside, because you got your safety chains and stuff there. So here I've got it through from the inside, got the little clip on the outside, know where it is. Again, it's going to be important that when we're hooked up, that chain comes around and it's up perpendicular. So I know about where it needs to go by putting it in there and measuring it. The difference between this bracket and a regular bracket of the other style of hitch is that when the chain is up in there, it is actually captured, and when a truck is pushing you sideways, everything is pushing as a solid unit. Here the chain would swing around however it wants to on here, so is part of the 4-point stabilization sway control of it. Again, on these brackets we have numerous ones that come in where the little pecker's been broke off because a fellow tried to lift too much with the bar, didn't jack it up to hook up, all that type of stuff, and wear them out. So this bracket is a more substantial bracket to do the job that we're trying to do. So I put the bracket on the trailer frame again, so it's at about 29 inches, and then I'll make it finger tight. And because it is doing the work both sideways and front to back, I actually go a half a turn past finger tight, a half a turn. I don't want to collapse the frame. The frames today are not near as thick as they used to be, and I don't want to have a concave on the inside of the bracket on the frame. Dieter, of course, doesn't like that, and there is no really way to fix that. If you do, smash it. So we don't want to smash it. So I've got the bar in there, I've got the bracket on. In order to hook it up and do the weight distribution, I'm actually going to couple the trailer to the truck and jack the back of the truck up a little bit. Recommend usually 2 to 3 knuckles of pickup. So Most of the couplers today have quite a crown on the front. Actually, since 78 they have. So a lot of times when you get down over the ball, you actually kind of push it apart to be able to get the hitch coupler lock to go down in there. We like to use a long padlock in that process. And a number of reasons. When I plug the electrical cord in, I'm actually going to want to be able to run that through there as well. So it will just pivot around the ball when we turn. In other words, the electrical cord won't be down here getting smashed, pinched, anything else up there, because if it makes the center of the ball, that's all the turning that we need. We can also run our breakaway switch through there. Again, breakaway switch can't be wrapped around your jack or any of that. It has to be free to turn, go. And as you see, we've got a clip on the bottom of the bumper, not to the hitch, so that can be fastened directly from the switch to the truck frame. Part of the program here. So again, I'm going to jack the back of the truck up a little bit. So I've jacked it up, and again we have the Gen Y on here, which has the rubber right in it to allow it to float a little better, and also, as you know, it's got different hole heights. That if the trailer was considerably different on height, we could put this in a different hole to make the trailer more closely level when it's done. So that's a very handy, relatively inexpensive deal to make things easy. To hook and unhook and get the trailer level in the process and to ride well, just all that good stuff. So what we have here is a trailer with a top coupler 6-inch frame, and I'll just say that the distance from the ball down to the end of the bar back up to the top of the frame isn't going to make a whole lot of difference whether it's a 4-inch frame, 5-inch frame, 6-inch frame, 7-inch frame. That percentage of weight distribution, because of the height, is going to be the same regardless of what the size of the frame is. But you have a lot of Jaycos out there. Jayco in particular uses this bottom coupler where the frame would actually sit on top of the coupler. Now the top of the frame is about 3 inches higher than the top of the ball. Therefore, the chain length that we would use with the top coupler is considerably different than the coupler we would use, the chain that we would use with the bottom coupler. This is not called inverted coupler, bottom coupler, but the frame sits on top of this one, and it doesn't change anything as far as being able to use it. It just changes the chain length that we would use to distribute the weight properly on the truck. So we have the back of the truck jacked up a little bit, using the trailer jack to do that. Basically, I'm lifting the end of my wheelbarrow handles up on this end, so when I leave the weight down on them, they're going to have weight and distribute the weight forward on my truck. Technically, if there's 1,000 pounds here, I'm trying to get about 500 pounds up there and 500 pounds way back there to the trailer wheels. So I'm going to take about 1.5 times the hitch weight on the end of these two bars to make that happen. As you see, when we're done, there'll be quite a bend in the end of the bar. So I've got the bar in there. Notice put pin through from the inside out because we're going to have chains underneath. I don't want to take the chance of bumping that link off. So this bracket, again, is very easy to use. It's on the frame. It just pivots to the back. You pull a little pin out to the back. They're suggesting that we're going to either put number 9 in the link, or number 8, or we can even go to 10 if we need to. But so I've marked the end of the link with red and with black, so I have an idea of which link I'm in. And I'm going to swing this around, and I'm going to put it in the red link for now. Take my handle and bring that up across, and you heard the little latch go in the hole. When it's up, this latch pivots here. That it's in the hole. Now it's out of the hole. It keeps it there while you do it. When it comes up against a little stopper here, and that should flop in. I'm not opposed to putting a little WD-40 on that stuff from time to time as it's used, so it doesn't get grousey. As you can see now, our chain hangs straight when it's hooked up properly, and yeah, we're going to put our safety chains on, cross them under the ball, and I want them to keep them as short as possible. I'll twist them a little bit if I need to keep them up there in close proximity. The reason you cross them is threefold. One is so it X's under the ball when you turn, but also if something ever failed and it came down in them, it cradles it from digging into the pavement, but also then as you're pulling off the road, it would pull it whatever direction you're going to get off the road. So that's why you would cross the chains and keep them as short as possible. We don't want them dragging, of course, but the real reason is to work as a safety chain, as it says. So, do you want me to leave it down without putting the other bar on, or go ahead and put the other bar down so we can actually see it?
Yeah, go ahead and do the whole setup.
All right, so I'm going to walk back around, put the bracket on the other side to hook up that chain as well, and we'll be good to go. Okay. So I'm hooking up the safety chain on this side as well. Again, I'm going to put the weight distribution bar in on this side. So I'm going to line the hole up, and I go put the pin in through from the inside out. So I have my clip on the outside, I can see it all the time. I'm going to mark my frame at 29 inches. Again, we're using the Blue Ox bracket. Gonna make it finger tight and a half a turn with a wrench. Again, we'll turn the bracket down. I have the handy dandy handle. The handles are much better. This is what we call the commercial handle. The original one that went to John Q. Public was only a little short thing like this, and it's a whole lot easier to use this nice big handle they have today. Again, I hooked in the red, the link I had marked with red, which is number 8. Well, take the handle, swing it up, click, latch it in, take my handle off, and then I'm ready to leave the weight down on my truck and see what happens. Because there's hydrostolic pressure in the molecular makeup of 5160 spring steel, when it is down, basically we want to leave it settle in. In other words, take my foot, put it on there, and I actually wiggle a little bit so the weight settles into the springs on my truck, on the spring bars, on the trailer. Now my measurements will be accurate. Now I'll come back around and measure the back and the front of the truck again to make sure that the right things are happening. So my back, which was at 33.5, is down to about 32.5. So I know my back is down. That's a good chance that everything is correct. So then I will walk to the front, double check my measurement over the front axle as well. Okay, so we had measured here, it was 40.5 before, it is now 40 3/4. My front went up a little. It's not far enough that it would be out of its good working program. Obviously we have diesel trucks, the front is heavy, and a little bit plus or minus is where it be. If it was up another 1/4 inch, I would actually be jacking up the back higher and going from number 8 length to number 9 length, so I would get more lift on the bars to get more weight distributed on the truck. So we're perfect. So again, we've just done a complete hookup on a Blue Ox Sway Pro weight distribution system. As far as I'm concerned, probably the best thing you could be doing on the market. You actually have a lot of tilt on the head. You see tilt on the head, which when you go into a corner, the bar on that side comes into more tilt, the one on this side comes out, so it's actually taking those wheelbarrow handles and poking the load into the corner, making every corner seem like a bank corner. When it is straight, you see the torque in the bars. It's actually torquing that load up and pushing that load to the center so that it's not hanging back here like a pendulum. It's pushing the load towards the center to make you want to go straight down the road. A semi passes you, pushes you sideways. Not only is it helping there, it is captured inside of the bracket here so that bar cannot swing side to side. When it pushes sideways, it pushes everything. So If you see a semi go past a big bus and he's going 90 mile an hour, you see that bus kind of, I call it waller a little bit. You're gonna move 3 to 5 inches sideways to come back, but you're not gonna be buckling around the ball because this keeps that from happening. The fact that we just distributed the weight, got that 1,000 pounds gone from here is certainly very helpful. All the weight distribution hooked up properly to do that. But here we actually get the 4-point sway control, and when you push it sideways, it actually holds the unit together, makes it all seem like one unit. Obviously there is a ball there, you can still swing it around the ball, do something stupid. Well, sorry that. You can still do something that you don't want to be doing if you swing it around the ball. So you just want to drive ahead of yourself. Don't drive with the seat of your pants, drive ahead of yourself and just maintain that deal, and it's going to do what semis do when they do it. It's all good. So that's what I wanted to say about locking in and giving you your 4-point sway control and doing the right stuff. So we appreciate you being with us today. It's been all good. Thank you.